Alright, hello there, this is Splat. You can find me on a show called I'd Rather Be Leveling, which I will be recording with my wife. I'm actually recording this before we record our first episode, so things are all brand new, but I figured I'd try out some screen recording before we got into our actual episodes. Now, I'd Rather Be Leveling can be found at myguildhome.com/IRBL for I'd Rather Be Leveling. I'm a whiz at coming up with original names, as you can tell, or maybe not. But in any case, this is a show where we're going to basically be talking about our opinions on the games that we play. Mostly it's going to be World of Warcraft. I'm just going to throw that right out there for you. But there will be a little bit of Minecraft and maybe a few other things sneaking in there as well. She can usually kick my butt at Bejeweled, but let's not get into that. Yes, or any racing games, as she hollers over from the dining room. Okay, so this video has two goals. The first is to test QuickTime's recording capabilities. I do have a shiny new MacBook Pro that's running Snow Leopard, and QuickTime has recording built in, so I'm testing this out. And the second is to document a world in Minecraft before I delete it. I had one I really liked, and I sort of lost interest in it. So, I thought I'd do a little bit of a recording of it before I sent it off into the nether. So let's load this up here. All right. Well, this is my basement. Big open space. And let me tell you, putting the torches in there was fun. I really just put them in there as I was digging down, finding all kinds of goodies. It got to the point I was doing so much exploring of this cave and so many nooks and crannies and creepers and zombies and all kinds of things that I started putting in signs because I'm notorious for losing my sense of direction if I ever had one to begin with. So as I was going through, instead of leaving breadcrumbs, I would just make signs to tell me where I had to go to get back home. And because that area was full of creepers and zombies and skeletons, I had to put doors there to keep them from coming out and saying hi to me while I was working on other parts of my home. Like, for example, the Arboretum, which is currently freshly planted, but I got a ton of wood out of here on a regular basis. There are enough torches for the trees to grow pretty fast. Let's go outside and take a look at the castle. When you're digging down pretty low, you get a ton of stone and all kinds of animals out there right now. You decide to make things out of it, so I decided to make a castle and see exactly how tall I could make it. I started off making each level just a little bit smaller than the last, then I decided, I'm just going to build straight up and see how high I can go. And how high I can go is, I decided to, okay, let's forget saying decided. My ADD kicked in right as I got above the skyline. The clouds form below me in most cases here. Although now I see them above me, so perhaps in the last update when they went from alpha to beta, they moved the cloud cover up higher. But the clouds were coming in below me before. And you see that really long trail there with glass and torches and stuff? That is a covered walkway that leads to my spawn point. Because I occasionally do things that I really shouldn't, I wanted to make sure I had a safe way of getting back in. So if I spawn, actually, I can do that right now since I'm going to be deleting this anyway. Whee! Alright, so here I am. You can't cover up the spawn point because if you do, you spawn above it. You can't dig down below because it'll actually change where you spawn. But I start off in here and I have a workbench and a little box of emergency goodies if I so need it. And this way, it doesn't matter what time of day it is. If I die, I have a safe way of getting back into the areas where I was working and building things. I probably should mention I did this whole map not really on a very hard mode, to be very honest, but I didn't have it set for peaceful. Monsters were always coming out when the sun came down, so I had to work around that. This wasn't something where I just set it on peaceful and built night and day. There are people who do awesome things doing that. I'm not going to discount them, but I decided I wanted a bit of a challenge, so I got exactly that. One bit of a challenge. Oh, hi, pig. Now, the castle was something I decided to build later. I started off in a hillside, which I'm going to come over here to see. So for a lot of this map, it was mainly a learning experience, setting up various things, different kinds of traps in order to get free food without me doing much work. Setting up a bunch of cacti in a row works pretty well. Fire traps, they're okay also. As you can see, that little pig is turning into cooked bacon right now. Problem is when they die and the food ends up in the fire, the food goes away. But, oh well. Now let's show you a failed trap, which is a shame because I thought this was going to be really cool. So I have this structure here, and it's basically a large funnel, and I had water pouring in on the sides and lots of grass, so things would spawn up here, and the water would flow them in towards the middle here. It'd pour down, and as you can see, there's cacti and water down there. The cacti would kill them, and the water would just flow them into a collection chamber, which I had in my castle's basement. The problem was, with the water flowing in through here, most of the animals can swim, so they just were bobbing up and down right in the middle, no matter what they were. If it was a skeleton, it would still bob up and down, and the water would keep it from burning to death in the sun. So I'd come up here to see what's going on, and I'd immediately get shot at. Not one of my better ideas, but we all learn sometime, and like I said, this was a learning experience for me. I always get a warm, fuzzy feeling when I get all the way down and hit bedrock. It's like, okay, yay, you tunneled down this far. You can't go any further. You wasted those hours of your life doing this. Congratulations. I probably could have explored this world a lot more. Like I said earlier, I sort of got bored with it. I decided to move on. I did encounter a few interesting things. This world is where I found my first dungeon, which I did not find it over here. I found it in the stairs that I was carving down. A single solitary spawner. I believe it was making zombies. And I had two chests, and I didn't get anything really good. I got some iron, I got some redstone. And how do you know you have too much time in Minecraft? When you build a pyramid out of sand. Okay, let's be honest, it's not completely sand. It's built out of rock and cobblestone, and then I piled the sand on top of that to make it look like the whole thing is sand. I used way too much glass to waste this much sand on that. Oh, one more trap that I set up, and this one I kind of liked, where I had the water coming in and flowing down. There is a cactus down there. This one worked pretty well. Most of the time, when something fell down there or was carried by the current down there, the cactus did kill them, and it did send whatever they dropped into a collection chamber in my basement. That worked out pretty well. And every now and then it got caught in the current and ended up on the other side of the cactus and just sort of stayed there. But otherwise, this worked pretty well. So I might make another trap like that in the new world that I'm working on, but I haven't really made many traps yet. Okay, so there you have it, a nice peaceful world that I just sort of got bored with and decided, well, that castle's kind of neat. I'm going to move on to other things. So this world's going to get deleted. Hope you had at least some minimal enjoyment watching this. Maybe got an idea or two. Maybe have a comment or criticism for me. Go ahead and share them with me. I don't mind them, but keep in mind this world's going to be gone. So saying, oh, what you should do here is this, well, by the time you say that, this world isn't going to exist.